Jason Warwick has been covering the inquest for us in Melfort. He joins me now. Jason, what else did you hear today?
Natasha, it was as memorable for what we heard outside the inquest today as what we heard inside. We'll get to the actual inquest in a moment, but as you heard, a growing number of people are talking about the content of the inquest and whether it is including enough voices from the James Smith Cree Nation. They are all saying that it's valid to hear about the RCMP and the emergency responders and the parole officers and many others who were involved in this case, many who went above and beyond their jobs and their duties to help. But it's also important to talk about the James Smith Cree Nation people that were not simply passive recipients of this help, that they actually were active participants in mitigating the effects of this tragedy, both during and caring for the wounded, but also trying to stop Myles Sanderson, but also in the hours and days after this happened. And so it remains to be seen if that will be the case in the coming weeks. We heard from Saskatchewan's Treaty Commissioner, Mary Culbertson. She came to sit in on the testimony today and has had staff here the entire time. She said that no matter how much the coroner and their office tries to include First Nations protocol and things, which they have in many respects here, it's still a colonial process, she calls it. It's not our process, and that echoes some of the chiefs and others who have been talking about this. And so today, again, we heard from parole officers inside the inquest about Myles Sanderson and his progress or lack thereof while he was in prison, when he came out, and when he went at large and a warrant was issued for his arrest. And again, we heard a nuanced portrait of Myles Sanderson, somebody who appeared to be trying very hard in prison and in the days he was released to take programming, to stay away from alcohol and drugs, to avoid the gang life, to read to his children over Zoom calls, to take family counseling or sharing circles. But then at some point, things descended over those months when he went at large, and then eventually culminating in this tragedy. And we're expected to hear more of that over the next week or so, but particularly next month during the inquest into Myles Sanderson's death, Natasha.
Sounds like some complex conversations coming out of this. So what are you expecting to hear tomorrow?
There are a lot more officials yet to testify, parole officers, corrections officials, RCMP, but of particular note for the families is that tomorrow there may be some extremely graphic testimony that they may not wish to be here for. The pathologists will examine the exact causes of death, the methods of death, the times of death, all of those very detailed examinations of exactly how these people died. So it could be a very heavy day again for many of these families, for this community that has mixed feelings about whether it's a good idea to dredge up all of this pain and grief again, Natasha.
Thank you for that, Jason, and I hope you and others are taking care of yourselves out there. That is CBC's Jason Warwick reporting for us from Melfort.